Was a celebration of our first cohort for our One Hood Artivist Academy. And so we really wanted to show off, these artists who have been, spending the time this year to create art that speaks directly to issues of social change.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all see Chuck real quick. That's Chuck.
Yeah, we got you, Chuck.
Hey. All right, maybe I'll put it on like that. For me, personally, as an artist, I wouldn't be an activist artist if it wasn't for the example that you set for Public Enemy. So I just have to personally thank you personally for inspiring me.
A collective to meet people back off of the culture instead of accepting dysfunctionality being the norm. We know dysfunctionality been a part of it for a very long time. We have a lot of dysfunctional artists, but they're artists. Whether it's raised to the top, there's the only way that somebody gonna get some birds, and that's highly debatable. Matter of fact, it's not even debatable, it's stupid.
So art becomes the driving force in these conversations, I think, to bring us together as a unified people, because it's able to cut across class and is able to cut across gender.
Anyone who claims to be a grassroots activist or who claims to be out here really in the struggle for people and particularly marginalized communities needs to be supporting organizations like One Hood and other organizations like it across the country.
Conversations like what's happening tonight are so important, because when you look around the country and you see things happening in a very powerful way, explosive way, we almost need to take that and restructure and reorganize and resettle.
I was so inspired by tonight's event and seeing all the young people really tell their stories. At the Nathan Cummings Foundation, we are so proud to be able to support Jaziri as a fellow and the Artivist Academy. We really believe in the power of artists.
This motto, One Hood, is a motto for people in different marginalized communities, just uniting and showing what we can do when we come together. So if I didn't support this, there's nothing to support.
I believe it's very important to support events like tonight, just because I love my city. I believe that we have some of the best talent here, and my son loved his city as well. So I'm trying to just continue his legacy and show support to children that are basically my son all over again.
What I want people to think of when they think of the Artivist Academy is this is the future of activism. Art and activism together to produce the change in the world we need to see.
Yeah, some of that One Hood history, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So welcome, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. We're on a different streaming platform. So, we doing a little video intros, give y'all a little intro into One Hood. We're also streaming live on YouTube at the same time, which is dope for us. So if we get banned on Facebook this time, like we did last week, if Facebook block our video this week, you could just head on over to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? YouTube got it. I'm Jaziri X. I am the CEO and co-founder of One Hood Media. Inviting you to come, build with us for the next hour. I'll pass it to my other co-host, NLS. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, indeed. I am Treble NLS. I am a teaching artist, a producer, a performing artist, anything I need to be, neighborhood alchemist at your service. And I'm going to pass it to Miracle. What's popping?
What's popping? It's your girl, Miracle, Director of Policy Advocacy here at One Hood. And I'm just being your everyday raspberry, getting ready to have this great satellite weekend. And I'm going to pass it to my twin, forever supervillain, Saeed. What's popping?
I think he has a different name today. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yo,
bad.
you see it, eh?
Rewind. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pass it to my twin, the fashionable, always stylish, Burberry shades. Blah blah blah.
Don't know,
What's
eh?
poppin'?
Yeah, bro. See it?
That's it. Just Burberry. This nigga get on. He do one national TV news hit. Now this is what it is. You were done with Hollywood on us. For those that don't know, Burberry was on CBS News this morning. You know what I'm
With
saying?
Gayle King, eh? Talk to me nice.
No, you know what I think it is? I think
Talk
it's the
to me nice.
sweatshirt he got on. You know what I'm saying? Like the sweatshirt, it's a next level sweatshirt he got on. He got him feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like he got him feeling kind of good. You feel me?
He got the do-rag, you know what I'm saying? He was on, you know, he was kicking it with Oprah's best friend, you know what I'm saying? And you know,
Yo, you might mess around, see a man next week with Oprah. You get me?
Might see Oprah and Burberry, you know what I'm saying? That might be the new exclusive.
Done know, eh?
So,
Done
but
know.
really, you know, let's get into, you know, because it's you know, we really need to just be quiet. I kind of feel like, you know, me, Burberry, Treble, we just gonna turn this over to Miracle for this next half hour because black men been messing up.
Black men, y'all have been fucking up all. I don't understand. I am so disappointed. Like 2020, we did Juneteenth. We have Black History Month. We were coming together to fight the power. I don't know what happened. And yes, Asian Debrat, you know, got caught up a little bit, but black men, Tory, 50, Ice Cube, Charlemagne, Shada Baby, like what is happening?
So where do we start? Do we start? I mean, you know, we put Ice Cube on the flyer, and Ice Cube has been getting, you know, Ice Cube put out a little bit about it last week, put out his contract to America, and, you know, basically kind of like, you know, allowed himself to me. You know, I mean, and it's not, you know, is Ice Cube a great artist? Yes. You know, has Ice Cube made some entertaining movies? Yes, he has. But does that then give Ice Cube, you know, the gravitas to then put this contract for America and then kind of speak to us in a political spectrum, particularly like, you know, the Trump campaign kind of played him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just saw this week that, you know, Eric Trump put a Trump, you know, they photoshopped the Trump hat on Ice Cube's head. Thank y'all for being down with, you know, America. Thank you for being part of the Platinum Plan, as disrespectful that is. So Ice Cube, you know, put himself out there. And to me, it's not, I don't have an issue with him creating a contract for America that he sees fit. I mean, that's his right as a human being. I'm putting himself out there, but he really allowed himself to be played by the Trump campaign. And even though, you know, he's tweeting, you know, he tweeted back like, nigga, please. But it's like, bro, like you're out here really speaking about, you know, issues that I don't know how well versed Cube is on these particular issues.
First of all,
Miracle.
I don't care how well versed he is or not. Let's just talk about how he acted. Like he came up with this plan on his own, put it out to Biden and Trump. And Trump was the only one who responded. But meanwhile, the whole entire time, this man has been working with Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, and everybody on Trump's team for at least 4 years. I personally would have had more respect if Cube came out and said, listen, I've been making money with these folks for a few years. We built up a repertoire. We don't believe the same thing, but hey, we about money. So here's a plan to get us some money. And then we could have had a different conversation. But then he up on Roland Martin's place looking stupid, don't know what's in his own plan. It's like, bro, like why? And then you have the nerve to be like, oh, well, we'll get actual activists and we'll get actual legislators to do the work. Why do y'all keep putting work for people to do? Why do you put a plan out and then expect somebody else to hold your mule and bring your own water to you? Like, what the fuck? Cuba's up, and it breaks my heart. But then again, he said he been leaving y'all since he was being bussed. So I don't know what to say. Because he said he bust, he played the game, he left NWA, he did the big lead, he been leaving black folk behind for a minute. But you know,
wow, you kind of
so
and that was a tweet. Wait, just real quick before I get to you, Mr. Shades. You know, Miracle was talking about a tweet where you know, Cube tweeted out like, you know, when I left NWA, they said I was a sellout. You know, when I was getting bused to school, they said I was a sellout. When I got into movies, they said I was a sellout, you know what I'm saying? But you're right. I mean, it's like, it's not that, to me, like you said, I mean, my issue is the fact that Cube, I felt like was more savvy to allow himself to get played and kind of used by Trump to forward this message that's like, oh, because remember Trump was saying like, what, try me, like what could go wrong? Like, what do you have about to lose? Well, 200,000 people, over 200,000 people are dead from COVID. Majority of those or a disproportionate amount of those people are Black people. You know what I'm saying? So we've lost a lot. You know what I'm saying? We lost a lot of jobs. We lost, it's people getting evicted all over the place. We lost a lot. So that what have we got to lose don't play out this time. And for Cube to allow himself to be used like that, to me, is why I'm critical of him, because as somebody in the entertainment industry, he should have known better. Mr. Shades?
So is he still the nigga you love to hate? I mean, he said it. You get me? That's a quote from Q. I'm the nigga you love to hate. But
he also said a bitch is a bitch. I mean, you know what I mean? He done said a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because I've always been a big fan of Ice Cube, the pyroclastic flow, all of that. But I would actually want to say like this is kind of calculated by him. I don't think he's allowing himself to be used. I think this is his plan all along. I would say all along, like was to kind of like do a koalas on the Black folks. It's just like he just really was just like, I'm a capitalist at the end of the day. I own Q Vision.
Yeah.
I own. I'm sure he has a stake in his masters. I know he's not really hurting on the music money side of it. So and then he kind of rebranded himself with his son. So this is kind of like and I had said this I think on the first episode. By the way, this is the 20th episode of This Week in White Supremacy.
Oh, wow.
I said this on the first episode. It's like we have to stop looking at these artists to be these saviors for Black people. It doesn't matter where they come from; they're still going to be artists. And that Chuck kind of alluded to that. Like they might be dysfunctional, but they're still artists. Like I'm not expecting Cube to move as a politician. I'm expecting Cube to move as an artist and do what's in the best for his artistic endeavors, whether I agree with it or not, whether it's against the in alignment with the policies of the states and the Black community at large. Cube is going to make money because that's what he's been doing since he's been 17 years old. He's been chasing that money. So. This is just kind of, in my opinion, par for the course for Q.
No, I think that's a great point. I mean, I think that's the same. I mean, I think you could say the same thing for 50 Cent. Like at the end of the day, these are capitalists. These are rich Black people. And, for Black people who are rich and wealthy. And it's interesting that, like, when we look at like the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King wasn't rich. Malcolm X wasn't rich. However, they were leaders, kind of based on integrity and principles and kind of how they move. But it seems like nowadays it's almost like you got to be rich in a sense to be taken seriously or seen as a leader. So then 50 Cent comes out and he says, he's voting for Trump. And it's kind of like, well, and we kind of had a back and forth on our group chat. Well, what else do you expect this rich dude to do? He's looking at his own self. He's looking at his own tax cut. And he's looking at Trump, I guess, maybe as some type of as some type of kindred spirit, in the sense of this is somebody who's getting money. You know what I mean?
Trump has always been in hip hop. That's the thing. Like we cannot ignore the fact.
Trump for a minute.
Yeah, like we can't ignore the fact that Trump, for better or for worse, and Miracle can chime in on this again. Going on Black Men, Trump was on the Fresh Prince.
Miracle.
Trump was on the Fresh Prince. Trump was with Mike Tyson. Trump was with a lot of these Black entertainers earlier.
Diddy,
very
Snoop,
early on. Diddy, Snoop. Yeah, like you get me. Like I think Snoop was at his roast when they roasted Donald Trump. That's even funny to say that the president got roasted. And I believe he was on some of the same cards in WWE with a lot of rappers. So it's like he's always kind of had these ties. And it goes to Mike Tyson. Like Mike is an avid Trump supporter. So it's just. I don't know, man.
Capitalists looking out for their best interests. So Miracle, blame Black men was trending.
Oh, first of all,
I
did not create that. I did not set that off. I love Black men. I just want y'all to be better. But if y'all want to be the weakest links, that's between y'all and your personal decision. But somebody on Facebook was talking about white men like Donald Trump know that Black men have no race loyalty at all. They see every single weakness of Black men laid bare. He knows that he can pardon a few high-profile Black criminals. He knows he can be seen with Kanye West. He can be seen with Steve Harvey. He can be seen with Ice Cube. And he can talk a little bit of shit about women and Me Too, and Black men will lick his butthole. Now, that is a little, a little bit graphic. Right? I didn't say that. But at the end of the day, I think that some Black men see Donald Trump as having the power they think that they believe that they should have. You have Boosie out here talking about free Bill Cosby. And when I talk to a bunch of you about Bill Cosby, nobody says Bill Cosby is innocent. Everybody says Bill Cosby was out here raping people, but so was Harvey Weinstein, so was the Playboy dude, so was Bill Clinton, so was so-and-so, so-and-so. So therefore, Bill Cosby should get a pass. People just want the benefits of white supremacy without the racism. And that is why we have a difference. Whereas a lot of us who believe in Black liberation theology, believe in collective salvation and collective movement for Black people, understand that all of us move together or none of us move together. All of us rise together or none of us rise together. However, when you just want to fill your own pockets, when you out here just trying to make sure you eat and nobody else eats because of the system of capitalism, right? See, I'm not downing the Black man. I'm trying to explain the situation you find yourself in. The system of capitalism is so attractive to you because it gives you a little 30 pieces of silver, and you think you've made it, when at the end of the day, what is the price? Again, I always like Dave Chappelle's stand-up when his dad said, what is your price, right? What is your dignity worth? What is your freedom worth? And if you're doing it to be associated with someone who has admittedly scammed and lied and manipulated and deceived their way into power, you have to be careful, because as Daniel Cameron is being shown right now, white supremacy is not going to save. It will use you for a little while, but it'll chew you up and spit you out. So you got to make a better decision for yourself and your people.
Yeah, so I want to get to trouble because you touched on something, Miracle, about people's affinity for Donald Trump. One of the things, the hashtag blame Black men was trending, and one of the reasons was Jamel Hill had tweeted, "I have increasingly found that many Black men just want better access to patriarchy. They don't actually want it dismantled." So that was kind of also touching on that thing with you. And yeah, so one of the things, because people keep saying this about, the Democratic Party told Ice Cube that they would meet after the election. I think the difference is, like, Joe Biden's plan for Black America has already been out. He already got with Black people. He got with his team of Black educators and researchers, and they put out their plan already. So from what I understand, the Biden campaign actually said to Ice Cube, "We agree with 85% of your what you have written, and then if we get in office, we'd like to meet with about kind of talking about implementing some of these things." It was Trump that needed it, but because Charlemagne, another Black man, and somebody was like, "Black men, the weakest link." We talking right now. We talking about 50 Cent, Kanye West, Ice Cube, Lil Boosie. We didn't even get to Tory Lanez and all his crazy stuff. And Charlemagne the God just did an article, but this is why I want to come to you, Trouble, because in the article, Charlemagne the God talked about that Trump was actually, I guess, playing commercials specifically to try to attract young Black male voters. And one of the things that Charlemagne said is the reason that it was working is because no other party was really trying to court and speak. I'm sorry, Miracle. A Miracle's face says, Jay, but this is Charlemagne the God. He said that no other party was actively trying to court young Black male voters, and then they actually, this was the New York Post, so we don't know how truthful it is, but this is why I want to come to you, Trouble. They actually said that they polled young Black male voters, which you are, and they said that Trump, like 35% said Trump appealed to them because he didn't follow these traditional political rules. That he was, he didn't care about politics, and he was kind of doing his own thing and didn't give a damn, and sort of that kind of like that white supremacy piece that you just laid out. And do you, Trouble, you're our youth correspondent, bro, and everything. Well, as a young Black man, like, has Trump, like, have you seen like Trump stuff trying to court you? And kind of how do you view Trump as somebody that's maybe non-traditional or whatever? You know, how do you see things?
So I have seen some shit targeted towards me. And my first response is usually on Hulu, you know, the little commercials in between the show and shit. I'm
Right.
usually like, turn this bullshit off. I like mute my TV and I go on about my business so the commercials are over. But one thing I will say, yes, Trump is non-traditional, but no, that is not okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, there's a saying that rules are meant to be broken. But I feel like if you're going to break the rules, at least break the rules in a way that's effective. The way Trump is breaking the rules right now aren't effective. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's breaking
Definitely
the
not for
rules,
us.
and yeah, not at all. And he's breaking the rules in a way that kind of makes it look like, I know for myself, I fear a future with Trump because like the way he's breaking the rules are kind of like borderline fascist. You know what I'm saying? It feels like there's going to be a shift in power that we don't want to see if we get another 4 years of Trump, because like we're starting to kind of see what him and his administration are willing to do, the lengths they're willing to go to make sure that they maintain their power and peace in this political sphere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we're getting a lot of comments. I'm sorry, I'm gonna come to you, Miracle. Somebody said, "What has Biden done to reach out to black men?" And I think, like, you know, as somebody that's kind of on the ground, I mean, you know, I personally, it's my, it's my man too. But we won't get into my friends today, Miracle. So I think like Biden. I mean, I personally participated in events. Not just, you know, around black men, but black people, you know what I'm saying? Targeting black people that had like, you know, black Congress people that were a part of it, you know, Pennsylvania Congress people, you know, some from New York, and other places. And so I've seen a lot of, and I mean, we have a whole coalition here in Pittsburgh that is a black coalition that's working on getting the vote out in Pennsylvania. And so I think this, but you know, is Biden entertaining like rappers? I mean, I guess maybe a few. I don't what like Trump reach, like all he got to do is get a meeting with Ice Cube. Now all of a sudden he's reaching out to black men. I mean, come on, like come on, we just gonna let this dude do like the very least. You know what I'm saying? Like, Miracle, you wanted to respond? No.
First of all, let's be honest. When Biden reaches out for black voters, we accuse Biden of pandering. And we accuse the Democratic Party of pandering, number one. So number two, we also need to point out that every candidate needs to be pandering and reaching out to every single voter and every single demographic, right? But when we look at the investment of when the DNC does their barbershop series, when they do their HBCU tours, when they talk about investment strategies, we don't see that as catering to black people. And that is the problem. Number three, Sky 4 in UK already talked about the disinformation campaign that Trump is doing. He is not reaching out to black voters. What he has done, he's hired a bunch of tech companies that identify black men and targets them on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media of different things by saying what Trump has done or disparaging Democrats. Be that as it may, the issue is not that you're voting for Trump. The issue is that you're not asking or demanding anything from him. People have talked about how Biden has to have an investment program, has to have a robust pardoning program, has to have the most progressive criminal justice reform, has to invest in schools, in infrastructure, and retirement, and all these different things, as well as address the healthcare disparities. Black women are dying to bring black men and black babies into this world, dying. And Biden is the one who was addressing that. You have to require something from your candidates. I don't care if 95% of black men vote for Trump this election. What are you at? And that is my problem, is people don't want to ask anything of him because they're saying, oh, he's paying attention to us, when in the end, he's not. He is not. Yes, you got invited to the White House. Hundreds of black people have been in the White House over the past few years. So we need to talk about what does it mean to have people actually engage in court or vote. Trump said, what do you have to lose? He didn't give you a policy. And the Platinum Plan is multiple other people's requirements and other people's asks put together, but doesn't even flesh it out. Elizabeth Warren told y'all about plans and showed you what a plan is supposed to have, right? Even if we don't like her as a politician. That is what we need to be requiring from these elected officials. If you want to give Trump your vote, get something in return, something that is tangible, because all of this investment in our community, you're going to have to pay that back in taxes, right? So this is not a robust investment in our community right now. Y'all are about to be hit so hard with these taxes, and you're upset about Biden's tax plan right now. Wait till next year when you have to pay everything back. Like, that is what I just want people to ask more from all of these politicians, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever. And also, don't excuse anyone's bigotry. What I have a problem with is people will excuse Trump's bigotry and said, oh, Biden said something in 1985 or Biden said something in 1982. Don't excuse anyone's bigotry. Demand more of them and demand better of them. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, if I can just chime in real quick.
I think you make a good point. Go ahead, Burberry.
No, I just wanted to touch on the comment section real quick, because I really don't do this too tough, because Miracle just put a nice bow on everything in it. But like, we're not. Well, first off, what we're not going to do is we're not going to chastise somebody for reaching out to Cardi B for whatever she did. I'm not going to stand for no slander for the Queen Cardi. First off, that's firstly. Secondly, why are we bringing up people's past? Like they can't do better, or they can't take that situation, that platform, and speak to people that are still in them situations. Me, myself, personally, I used to shoot niggas and sell guns. So no politician is supposed to reach out to me to tap into the people in my community that I might be able to build with.
If I can just
you beat the case.
I
beat my charges.
But I would say, just to touch on that, I mean, Ice Cube made Dope Man. Ice Cube in his songs was talking about shooting people and selling dope and smacking women, and like I said, he made a bitch as a bitch. And so I mean, like to act like, and I think that gets into that patriarchy piece. Like 50 Cent was a straight up drug dealer. Like, so 50 and so Ice Cube can rise above his situations.
Trump's dad was a drug dealer in a pit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's a fact. Like, well, I don't know why we still focusing on Cardi B right here. Like she's, gonna tumble the walls of Gibraltar down or something like that. But like, she's, I mean, but if anything, you got to large up people like Cardi, because her platform, right? Her platform is gonna bring people like her to the polls. And the thing is, we want more black people to vote, right? Only if they fit a certain category, only if they fit a certain demographic, only if you're deemed them favorable or something like that. Like, nah, bro. Like, the thing is like right now, we need everybody to come out and represent for the community. And you know what? Strippers is get money niggas. That's a fact.
Strippers, sex workers, drug dealers, everybody does.
They get money, and they put money in the black community.
Is Cube partner for our Cube vision and for the big three was Steve Bannon. Do not come out.
Steve Bannon's friend or Jared Kushner's friend. Oh yeah.
He's been working with them for years. Why come out and hide that? Just be like, these are my people. I rock with them. They rock with me, so they're gonna rock with y'all. I have a problem the same way I have with Umar and all the other the Hotep people. Is the lies, the lies and the deceit they use. Because at the end of the day, your people have been through so much. Why put all this extra stress and trauma on them? Like, hey, nobody will care. Steve Harvey was out here talking to Trump. Wendy Williams was crying on TV talking about Trump got elected, and now maybe I'll get to go to the White House. So we have had black celebrities talk about Trump for a minute, but at the end of the day, if you're going to hold Biden more accountable for the things that he has done, and ignore the fact that the majority of people being deported are black Haitians, ignore the fact that if the darker you are, you're more likely to be deported. Ignore the fact that all this stuff is happening in our country right now. That to me is a problem.
And Biden's not even president. Children. Yeah, but no, it's just over 500 immigrant children.
I'm sorry,
they don't know where their
I didn't
parents
mean to
are.
bring Umar into this.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, but I think
apologies.
No, and I think so. Just I guess for Biden. I think Jeezy, Ludacris. It was a couple of rappers that are surrogates for the Biden campaign, but that's just a Google search if you want to know what rappers are down. But Biden and them just did a battle rap commercial. It was corny, but they trying to reach battle rappers, like what I mean, like do they?
I gotta see that one.
Yeah, it was corny, but I mean,
it's from the Nick Cannon people.
They trying.
It's from the Wild Out folks.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think this is a good point. I think, just like you said, it's like to say, just to put an end on it, because Miracle did really drop it. It's not saying nobody can have a plan. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's that thing of, it's a clip of Malcolm X where he's talking and he's like, how come our leaders are like singers and athletes? You know what I'm saying? And it was a really powerful clip where he was saying and he was kind of talking about, I think he was talking about Jackie Robinson. He was saying Jackie Robinson, that's not a leader, he's an athlete. He's like Lena Horne, she's a beautiful singer, but she's a singer. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to get into who are these individuals that have the information that we need in this moment. Just because you have a platform, you rich, you made some great songs, doesn't mean that that's necessarily you. You know what I'm saying? But the Trump campaign, one of the things they're great at, they are great at marketing. You know what I'm saying? They're excellent at marketing. This is what Trump did. This is why he's winning. You know what I'm saying? And so they use this, 50 Cent and Cube and all that, and they use it to their advantage to try to grab, particularly these young black males to try to siphon up. They got Kanye trying to get all on these and he's on the ballot in certain states, telling people to write him in. This is all really designed to get Trump reelected. And now if Trump's reelected, then what? You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a plan for COVID going into flu season right now. We literally don't have a plan. One of the powerful things, Dr. Bay, who's on our What Black Pittsburgh Needs to Know show, is in Barbados. And he was talking about in Barbados, everywhere they go, they're taking your temperature. They're making sure he had to quarantine. They talked to somebody from the Ministry of Health as soon as they got in the country. This is Barbados. They have 7 COVID deaths. We have now, of course, we're bigger, but we don't even have no real plan. You know what I'm saying? And so really this what we gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I just think, we got a lot to deal with. But we do have, I guess we can get into, it's not all black men that were bad. We do have, do we say a black woman or not a black woman? How do we classify J-Lo, Burberry? How do we classify J-Lo? What do we call her?
Yo, let him man Bill, you get me? First off, J-Lo, right? Jenny from the block, right?
Yes.
Jenny with the least, right? Jenny with a little bit of cheeks. You get me? Small yams, right? Still beautiful. But you can't say, J-Lo, look me in the shades, baby.
Look in the camera.
Yo, you get me?
Look directly into the Burberrys.
Right there. Windows of my soul, innit? You can't sit here and say you will always be a black girl from the Bronx when you've been playing the same white woman in films for 15, 20 years. How? Make that make sense to me. How? Como?
So for those that don't know, and this kind of broke out on social media, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, did a song with the Colombian singer Maluma. And in the song, J-Lo says, basically in Spanish, she says, I'll always be your black girl from the Bronx. I'll always be your little black girl from the Bronx.
Siempre,
or always be a black girl from the Bronx.
Cruz.
Yeah, I don't know how
¿Dónde mi hermano? Where's my brother Cruz, man? Where's my brother Cruz? Because he's from Puerto Rico. So that's the thing. There's a lot of I love my buddy K, or I love my Tainos, I love all them, man. You get me? But
right.
there's an issue within the Latinx speaking community, the Spanish speaking community about blackness and them appropriating blackness when it's convenient for them. And J-Lo, whenever she did the tune with Ja Rule, I'm Real, she said, I tell them niggas mind their biz, but they don't hear me though. Nah, baby, we heard you. We heard you, baby. We heard you. But we didn't want you to apologize. We just wanted you to do better. We wanted you to do more.
Yeah.
But now you out here tweeting All Lives Matter in 2016, and then you did an anti-Trump halftime performance with Shakira, where you let Shakira upstage you, and then you come and you chatting like, oh, now I'm always gonna be the black girl from the Bronx.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I understand, like in Latin America, race works differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
get that.
Cruz
But-
said that Negrita is different in Spanish, but still, like, you know.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's an
Negrita
endearing
is an
term.
endearing term. It is. But still, like, you know, we know what she was trying to say, bruv. We know.
Well,
we know.
see,
We know what she was trying to say, bruv.
When I took Spanish and my professor was Puerto Rican, and I'm not speaking for all Puerto Ricans because I'm not Puerto Rican, but she said like little black girl, Negrita was a term of endearment for darker skinned Puerto Ricans. Like you weren't saying that for everyone. So I would need some clarification, number one. And like J-Lo still hasn't apologized for stealing Ashanti's vocals all the entire time. So I, you know, before we even talk about calling yourself a black girl from the Bronx, I need you to like apologize for stealing the work and the lyricism from other black girls, you know.
Look at that black queen on the screen.
You know what? What is Charlemagne?
He tried it.
The Caucasian Nubian princess. Is that what Charlemagne says?
No, but I think you're right. I mean, it's like, you know, and to say like when we look, you know, when I think of Pittsburgh and Puerto Rico, you think of Roberto Clemente, but Roberto Clemente was clearly, you know, that's, you know, a black man. Roberto Clemente was black. You know what I'm saying? Like Negrito, however you, yeah, I mean, but you can look at Roberto Clemente before he opens his mouth, you're like, that's a black man. So we know that like Puerto Ricans come in all different, Cubans, you know what I'm saying, all different colors and sizes, but that, you know, in this country, particularly if you are a lighter or whiter skinned a Latinx person, you can pass as white. And like you mentioned, in many Jennifer Lopez movies, she is not Latinx. She is Italian. She's white. You know what I'm saying? In many of those movies,
Jane Fonda's daughter-in-law. You know, she's only paired with white men. You get me?
You're not gonna put Roberto Clemente in a movie and have him be no white person. I mean, that's
the thing.
not happening.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, and Cruz is dropping knowledge. Like there are levels. You get me? There are levels. So specifically on the island of Puerto Rico, like when you talk about Negrita in like, you know, the equatorial area of the world, it does have a different connotation, right? But what we're talking about here for J-Lo is that like J-Lo isn't David Ortiz. J-Lo isn't Roberto Clemente. J-Lo isn't like, you know, any of these athletes that you see, these Spanish speaking athletes that, you know, these black people that were colonized in Spanish, right? Now, Puerto Rico, these islands, they have huge multicultural backgrounds, right? Where people look different. You look at Pitbull, right? Pitbull identify. Well, we're not going to talk about Pitbull because he's problematic in his own right.
First of all, he's not Mr. 305, not Mr. Worldwide.
Oh man,
I mean,
you know,
he probably vote for Trump too. Pitbull,
yeah,
probably
man,
vote for
you know,
Trump too.
Pitbull on a different type of time. But you know, go ahead.
I don't want to like hate on Puerto Ricans because I know they have a lot going on with like U.S. imperialism and military builds after the hurricanes, and the fact that people forget that they are Americans and so free Puerto Rico. But my problem with, again, non-black people or people without black identifying parents being the face of blackness is this is what we put in the world. And so when we talk about colorism, when we talk about racial disparities, when we talk about policies that impact black people, if you are going to ask a J-Lo about what the black Afro-Latinx experience, Afro-Cuban experience is, that's going to be a problem because that's not her experience. And I have a problem with people who do not identify as black outside of the capitalistic marketing taking on that identity. Is then you start to speak about issues that you have no experiences about, and then you start to become the face of things. True. And that has become the problem that we're trying to deal with now. And she's never identified herself like that before, right?
No.
Not in her
never.
Instagrams, her YouTubes, her behind the scenes footage.
No hashtags.
Not even
hashtag Negrita like that. We ain't seen
not
that.
even when she was in the
it was
jail
hashtag
cell
All Lives Matter.
Diddy, not even when she was out with Diddy. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't doing all this. Right. So like that to me is a problem.
I think you make a great point, Miracle, because what happens is it's like you become like, and that, I mean, we see that happening, you know. We see a lot of times people want the culture, black culture, but don't want black people. And so you try to find either somebody white that can mimic black culture very well, or you find like the lightest black appearing person that you can find to kind of like water that shit down. You know what I'm saying? And so just like you said, like she should know, like, you know what? you know, she should be. I mean, come on, how? I know J-Lo looks young, but she's got to be damn near 50 years old at this point.
Yeah, she's
It's
like 51.
Yeah, so it's like, J-Lo, you've been in this industry. You know how this entertainment industry works. You should be savvy enough, just like going back with Ice Cube. Maybe I'm giving these entertainers too much credit. You should be savvy enough right now to understand that, like,
me. You know, niggas
you know
can't
what?
read.
And kind of like what Cruz is saying, it doesn't mean black necessarily. However, like, we'll take it a certain type of way, particularly because you have spent your entire career basically coming up off of black music and black styles and black swag, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, didn't have to really deal with, you know, a lot of times you don't have to deal with that, the impact of race, the way darker skinned people in this, and dark, whether they be darker skinned Puerto Ricans or just darker skinned black people in general. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of colorism. Cruz gonna give her a pass.
6:38.
Thank you, Miracle. You took it's time for what the fuck did Trump do now, eh?
So we have two what the fuck examples. Are we gonna like try to argue like which worse? I don't know. What are we gonna do?
I just want to shout out my people in Erie. That's all I wanted.
Erie's Toronto's neighbors to the south, eh? Like, you know.
So Trump went to Erie, and this was what Trump said about Erie while he was in Erie.
And we don't
Pennsylvania, we won the whole thing. Before the plague came in, I had it made. I wasn't coming to Erie. I mean, I have to be honest. There's no way I was coming. I didn't have to. I would have called you and said, "Hey, Erie, you know, if you have a chance, get out." But we had this thing won.
That's interesting.
So
thank you.
Yeah, that's your boy Trump. I mean, you know, I guess if you're gonna diss me to my face. I mean,
say, you know, come to my yard and say that, and that's what he did.
I mean, he definitely did. He went to Erie and was like, "Look,
fuck you, nigga.
If it wasn't a pandemic, I wouldn't be here." and they was cool with it. That's the wild part. They was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the cold. But then
Before
Trump.
the plague came in, I had it made.
Okay. We gonna say
I
it
wasn't
again.
coming to Erie. I mean, I have to come to Erie. I wasn't coming to Erie.
Oh, this a remix? Somebody should make a song.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. When I'm going home, I don't even stop in Erie. I'll stop in Buffalo. I don't stop in Erie. I'll make sure I have enough gas to where I can bypass Erie.
You know, I don't know if there's anybody Erie watching, but whenever I think of Erie, Netflix has a documentary called Evil Genius.
Yes.
And that what makes me think of Erie. And I was like, yo, Erie's a scary ass place. Like,
From a hood perspective,
like,
they tried to beef with Pittsburgh at one point in time. I was just like, stop, bro. Y'all from Erie. That's all you have to say, bro. Like, you're from Erie. You feel me?
No, but what's real? Yeah. So I mean, I do visit Erie. I like the beach. I like Erie in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to Erie, but that was wild. But then Trump also called CNN. I guess he has some. I guess maybe the rappers are influencing Trump. Now, I don't know. Trump is on this shit right now. Can you play Trump talking to CNN? This was Trump talking about CNN.
Great governors, you know, and your state is doing great with a pandemic. They're getting tired of the pandemic, aren't they? Getting tired of the pandemic. You turn on CNN, that's all they cover. COVID, pandemic, COVID. You know why? They're trying to talk everybody out of voting. People aren't buying at CNN, you dumb bastards. They're not buying it. Dumb bastards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, Trump is the white 50 Cent, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Trump is
the white 50 Cent.
I told y'all, my friend said he's like Tony Montana without the violence and the drugs.
Wow.
I told you, y'all don't believe me.
I don't know. I mean,
here we are.
Supposedly he's on Adderall too. It's like Adderall pills popping out
allegedly.
of his face.
I mean, also to point out that Trump is still like bombing places in the global South, and that we're still at war and stuff that's going on in Yemen and like the Middle East. So a lot of times, I know it's not on the news coverage, but we keep talking about how Trump is a pacifist. I just want to point that out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like what Trump is saying, like we can't even get to like regular shit because so many people dying of COVID. COVID is spiking up back again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we can't even get past COVID because we don't even have a real plan to tackle COVID. You know what I'm saying? We thought at this point we would be moving on, but this is really, Trump's problem. So I mean, I guess you could blame CNN, but I would blame yourself. You know what I'm saying? Did y'all want to move on to this voter suppression? Was a lot of voter suppression happening. You had the Proud Boys, you know what I'm saying? They were sending threatening emails to people in Florida, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, basically saying like, if you don't vote for Trump, it's going to be a problem. You had in Miami, you had a cop that had a Trump mask on inside of the polling place in Miami. You had
in Tennessee, they were turning away voters for wearing Black Lives Matter shirts.
Yeah,
like saying
Memphis,
you can't
Tennessee.
vote. Like, I wish somebody would, bro.
I think I think this is why, we've kind of been pushing like vote early. We got the pop-ups. We got another pop-up that's happening at CCAC Northside this weekend where we're going to have food, we're going to have performances, but really so you can avoid all of that BS where there's a group of Black people there with you that if somebody tries to jump up or intimidate you or pop up, you know what I'm saying? We're all there as well. And we can make sure like, or even if you have a question around voting, we can you could go talk to somebody. You could ask somebody that's, that might maybe be able to give you good advice because this is kind of getting crazy right now.
Yeah. And, this week, the Allegheny County Board of Elections talked about how they had the messed up ballots. And this company, this Midwest Direct company, is a company that has Trump's flag flying outside their headquarters. And for some reason, they keep two times they've messed up ballots for heavily Democratic area that they have these contracts with. So it's a big idea. It's a big deal with this voter suppression. We had the people, the postal workers out here taking trash and throwing trash away.
Yeah.
Because they thought there were ballots in there. We have people firebombing ballot boxes. We have the California GOP putting out fake ballot boxes. So voter suppression is really, really real. And I know everybody's exhausted. I'm waiting on November 5th so I can do my vacation for a month. But like we still need people to stay involved and engaged and alert because these white supremacists are not going anywhere.
Right. And it goes back to that whole piece around like
that's your friend.
Yeah. And it goes back around like to that thing of like if our vote wasn't important, why would folks, you know what I'm saying? What's so funny?
Of course.
Wonder Twins. We wonder twin it right now. We're going out wonder twin it right now.
I don't know what's going on. So anyway, we got about 15 minutes left. Where do y'all want to go? I mean,
we have to talk about these bloody Karens, bro.
The Karens, they've been wilding, bro.
So are we gonna so do we want to do the Terry Crews first? I mean, we don't have the video, or do you want to? Let's just go to the Karen. So I only think we have the one Karen video. We only have the one Karen video so far. So do you have the other Karen videos?
I mean, we'll put out what we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Starbucks Karen there. What Karen's was on fire this week. It was a lot of white women that was wilding, but this what happened at a Starbucks.
Who just gave us some money?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to me like that, and I know it's because you're discriminating against me because I'm a Trump supporter. Thank you.
She couldn't wait to say "fuck Black Lives Matter."
She couldn't wait.
You see that long ass back she has?
I was trying not to say anything.
She built like a straw.
Let's not be ableist.
That's not ableist. She just got nostalgia. That's all.
You need to leave. Thank you. No, fuck. Thank you. Have a good one.
I mean, you know what's wild? It's like, Trump's racist. If like Trump 2020 is like your like that's your slur. Trump 2020. You're like, I'm gonna yell Trump 2020 at a black person because I know it's gonna hurt a black person. Well, why would that hurt me if he ain't racist? Like
why is it that
this dude is racist.
Why is it these Trump supporters default to discrimination as their plea? Like, as if you know, like it's like, oh, you're discriminating against me. That's always the language that they use whenever someone is persecuting them for their Trump beliefs. The last time I checked, discrimination is a tool that you use against people for what they look like, for what they are. Trump support, that's a choice. You can easily not be a Trump supporter. We can't discriminate against you. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, some people like apple juice for some fucking reason. I don't know. But it's not like I'm going to sit there and be like, okay, we got to pull apple juice off the shelves. I like apples. I think they're delicious. I just don't want to drink one. You get me? That's not discriminating against people who like apple juice. But you say, oh, you're discriminating against me because I like Trump. No, bitch. We're discriminating against you because you're fucking racist. Like, you know,
and you're not wearing a mask. Yeah,
right,
like,
and then you're endangering people. And then you're endangering people.
Crap on. Yeah. But
I mean, I personally.
I'm
Go ahead, Treble. No,
I was just gonna say, like, my only point is, like, how would the barista have known that she was a Trump supporter before she said that? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, where's the basis for your assumption? You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
apparently,
Trouble.
No, her mask. I guess she had a Trump 2020 mask. You know what I'm saying? But the barista was saying, I don't have a problem with your mask. I have a problem with the fact that your mask is like under your chin. You know, just keep your mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to come in and drink coffee that, you know, support Trump. It's like, I work at a place, you got a Trump 2020 mask on. I'm not going to throw your coffee at you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. This is a woman that has a job and wants to keep her job. You know what I'm saying? But she also, part of her job is to say, keep your mask on. You had something you want to say, Miracle?
One, I just couldn't work at Starbucks because allegedly they have a policy where you can't defend your coworkers. And at some point, people just need to be like expelled and banned from these stores.
100%.
But also, I think it's funny how like you see Black people and you're like, fuck Black Lives Matter. And you don't even know if this person even subscribes to Black Lives Matter. Even supports Black Lives Matter. That Black barista could be a Trump supporter. She could be even voting for Kanye in 2020. We don't even know what she's doing. But you just like somebody's like, we're not even Black people anymore. We're just like Black Lives Matter protesters. Like, you just have like another identity. And it's like hilarious. But yeah. I hope that woman choked on her coffee, though.
It is exactly, but I think that's the thing. Kind of like what Farouk was saying. Like, immediately you go to racism. Like, as soon as like a Black person steps on your foot, does something to offend you, says something to you wrong, fuck Black Lives Matter, go Trump. You know what I'm saying, nigger? Like, I mean, it's like so. But then we'll turn around and say I'm not racist. It's like, come on. Oh, you like them K-pop? You do. You was like, and you know, shout out to Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? Starbucks Foundation, you know what I'm saying, supported us. So shout out to them. But Miracle, can you tell us what is happening at your alma mater in the law school? Can you tell us, Miracle?
Man. Why is it all the universities in Pittsburgh right now decided to lose their fucking minds?
Why are all the University Pittsburgh professors?
Did they have a secret meeting that we weren't in? Like, they were like, okay, listen, Duquesne's gonna say nigga this week.
I still need paperwork next week. I still need paperwork from Pitt to get sworn in, so I'm gonna say it like this. This is just the first time that situation has been caught in the eye of the public. And I think we need to understand that in academia, we do not need to say racial slurs for the sake of saying racial slurs. We do not need to traumatize Black students for the sake of white education and enlightenment. And I think that hopefully, again, now that everything is on Zoom, people will be on their best behaviors. It's one thing when you're taking a class about race and the law and race and discrimination, and we're going through examples of slurs in history and how the law is bigoted and homophobic and sexist. It is another thing to be talking and it's out just randomly just start expelling racial slurs, because we know a lot of our professors are racist. We know that you look at this Trump administration, there's a lot of lawyers from top to bottom in his administration. So we know that the law is not some progressive leftist bubble that people like to talk about academia being. And so as Black students who are just there to learn, we're not trying to be traumatized and triggered. We're not trying to have racial slurs heard at us and then give excuse for our peers to say the same things. I don't know why professors want to say the N-word. I don't know why people love the N-word so much, because there are so many other slurs that people say that nobody else is fighting and dying to say. Nobody wants to say the F word. Nobody wants to say words that are derogatory against Spanish folks or immigrants or people who are hard of hit. Look, I don't understand why the N-word is
There's
so
a word
popular.
for that?
Yeah,
There are hard of hearing?
Yes, there are a lot of words that we have
Well,
said. I just don't understand why.
I mean, I
Why?
guess
And also, Bruce, I didn't mean to say Black Haitians. I was just talking about how like Black people are being deported and nobody makes it a Black issue. But so go back on that. But look, I just don't understand people want to say the N-word. Like I very rarely myself even say the N-word. Like very rarely. And so I don't understand why people want to say, and with hard R's. Right.
Yeah, I guess my thing is this. Like, imagine being so committed to saying the N-word that you're ready to lose your job.
Did you incorporate it in your syllabus? Like today, like he woke up, he put his tie on, was like, today's the nigga day. Today we saying nigga. This is what I graduated for. This is
Like,
what I want.
Just some kamikaze type, because you know what it is. I mean, it's literally like being a kamikaze. Like, nigga, like, I mean, you're so committed, like you're willing, and then it's like, try to get another job. I'm assuming they're going to Google you, and the first thing that's going to come up.
They didn't release his name. Now, some of the alumni have asked, and they won't give us his name. They don't know.
They didn't.
We don't know who he is. He's allegedly a practicing attorney. So we have to sleuth around. He's being protected. And again, white supremacy protects itself. And my problem is, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really want to practice law in Pennsylvania, is I've been very open about the sexism and racism that I've endured in this legal system. And I don't get it. I really don't. And I don't know what to tell people. I really don't know what to tell people. Mark, I don't even say the C word. I don't even call white people the C word. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I really don't understand why people want to go out of their way to say racial slurs in the academic setting, especially, but just in general, it's just not what I personally do. So I don't get it. I don't get that behavior.
Yeah, we want to.
I just want to say,
try to
like,
bring. Yeah.
As far as the N-word goes, bro, it's like it's one of those words where, like, even if you're Black, if you say that to me, you might leave missing a couple of teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like it's not something you should be out here just saying with your whole chest. You feel me? Like, no matter who you are, where you're at, how much money you make, what skin color you have, you know what I'm saying? Like, N-word with the hard R, bro. No, just drop that from your language.
Yeah, just drop that. And just like you said, I mean, like, it's so many other words. I mean, you're a college professor, you're an attorney, you're a doctor. I would assume you know better language or more language.
Be a loquacious motherfucker.
You should be a loquacious motherfucker for real. So we got about 5 minutes left. We're gonna move to our white pages this week. Is a book called Emergent Strategy. This is Adrienne Marie Brown. Emergent Strategy. It's a beautiful book. It was inspired by Octavia Butler about explorations of our human relationship to change. It's a radical self-help, societal help, and planet help designed to shape the futures that we want to live. And so Emergent Strategies by Adrienne Marie Brown. That is our book for this week. You know what I'm saying? Get your read on. And then who's gonna do our call for you're gonna do our call to action, Miracle?
Marimbo, no, that was a different teacher who was fired for saying the N-word in Michigan. We're talking about at Pitt Law School.
Yeah, this is Pitt Law School. And then there was earlier, a couple months ago.
This is for Central Michigan.
Yeah,
a person this 2 weeks ago was fired in Michigan for doing the same thing.
And 2 weeks before that, a Duquesne University, also in Pittsburgh, professor was fired for using the N-word as well. So it's just, it's wild. But his name should be out there. He shouldn't be protected. We should know who he is.
No, absolutely.
So what's our call to action, Miracle?
Our call to action is to do whatever you can to support the people in Nigeria. We understand that we are in the United States, for the most of us who are watching the show. However, for those of us in Pittsburgh, we watch police brutality happen against protesters here. In Pittsburgh, we've watched people be tear gassed, shot with rubber bullets. And so in Nigeria, there is the #EndSARS, #EndSARS, protest against police brutality. They basically have a police unit that disproportionately is targeting youth, queer people, people who they assume are engaging in illegal activities, which is basically pretext for discrimination. And the youth of Nigeria started this uprising to fight back and to demand the end of police brutality. And last night at the crossing, allegedly the Nigerian army actually opened fire on protesters, killing a few of them, and they refused to allow nurses and doctors to provide medical treatment at the onset. And basically, they're just trying to fight back against police brutality because we know with colonialism and imperialism, white supremacy is in governments all across the world, even governments with black faces. And so we're asking people to tweet in SARS. There's different, Beyonce on her website, she was called out. And so she has lists of organizations that you can donate to. Call the consulate, call your elected officials. In addition to asking them to amend 508 here in Pennsylvania, ask them to speak out against the police brutality in Nigeria and just keep pushing and pulling for abolition, because it's clear that policing cannot be reformed when it's this violent and this dangerous all across the globe.
Absolutely.
If I can just build on this real quick, as someone, we say a lot of stuff about, the states and everything like this, and this by no means is me putting on like some type of a patriotic cape, but living in the West does have its benefits. You get me? Like, I remember my mom telling me about her family in Lebanon and just dealing with the atrocities that were happening in the Middle East and whatnot. And I talked to a lot of my friends that are from, other countries, and, we deal with things like that. And while we are dealing with a clusterfuck in the States, and while we are dealing with a lot of things in the West that are terrible prosecutions, persecutions, subjugations, atrocities, all of these different things, there is some times where you're able to rest a little easier knowing that, hey, you know what, my yard might be mashed up. Like, I might not have, some of this, and this, but at least, I'm safe to walk that, relatively safe to walk down the streets. Like, there isn't like some totalitarian dictatorship or something like that, where you have a police state. You look at Lebanon, you look at Nigeria, you look at, even parts of China, you look at parts of Asia, other parts of, even in Western Europe, you're looking at things like that. And it does, we make a lot of jokes on the show, but right now, but when we see black people like this being murdered by other black people, it hits a little different. Sure. Nigeria hits a little different right now. So, we got to do what we can. Plus, with so many people right now, so many artists consuming the Afrobeat sound and consuming the Nigerian sound, and going to Lagos to shoot these films and turning Lagos into the new Hollywood or the new vacation spot away from the States. We don't need to gentrify that. We don't need to exploit these people. We need to stand in solidarity with these people. We need to help these people, because right now, you do your ancestry.com. I bet some of you, man, might find out that you're Nigerian, that you're a Niger man, eh?
Right. And I think just to touch on that, just to expand further, because Miracle did talk about our situation here with police brutality. Pittsburgh just put out this community police reforms task force, where they couldn't even go as far as to say that actually like racial discrimination was existing, even though all the stats show that police primarily profile and discriminate against us. So there's a really great article. Colin Kaepernick introduced a series around police abolition that he's been tweeting about. It's a really good article that came out today called "Police Reform Works for the Police." It's a woman named Naomi Mirakawa, and to me it really, when I looked at this police reform bill, this police reform task force recommendation that came out for Pittsburgh, it was all about officer wellness. We need to train police more. We need to support police more. We need to give police access to more technology and more data. And it was really like, this is actually saying like, we got to not defund the police, but we want to spend money on the police. And a lot of times when it comes to police reform, it's really all about like oh, the problem is the police need more support and the police need help. No, the problem is that we're already spending money on the police that could be going to actually benefiting our communities and our neighborhoods. You know, what's happening in Nigeria is that, you know, the police now becomes this gang that's terrorizing its own people in our own community. And so what does Nigeria need more? Less police. So people have called them to disband SARS and called them to begin to treat people in a different manner. And that's what we need over here. So we're seeing a worldwide call to defund and abolish the police. So I would recommend that article. I don't know if you can drop that in the chat. But to me, that article really surmised why, you know, our community task force gave these recommendations that basically is a stimulus package for the police and not for our community. And that's the last thing we need, especially here in Pittsburgh. We have the poorest working class Black community in the country. And that's why we organizing locally. And that's why, you know, once we push past this national election, we got some local elections that we want to also get involved in. I mean, there's local elections on the ballot here in Pennsylvania as well. There's a lot of downstate elections as well. But this is why we're trying to build power locally. So hopefully we'll see y'all this weekend at CCAC Northside, where we'll be having some performances. Trouble's going to be rocking, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Along with other One Hood artists. We're going to be streaming the Steeler game on Sunday as well from CCAC Northside. So if you haven't voted, if you're in that area or you want to do your early voting, do your early voting as well. Any other last comments? Anything else happening?
Yes. I do want to say something about this tool that I just came across called Ballot Ready. And I'm going to let Miracle speak a little bit more on One Hood Powers Connect with Ballot Ready. But it really just went through and showed me each of the candidates on the ballot, showed me what their stance was on certain issues. And I didn't have to do all of this separate research. And all I had to do was click the links within what they dropped down under each candidate. And it shows you where their statements came from, the interviews or stories that came out about these views. Everything you need to know is right there.
Yes. And so actually One Hood has partnered with Ballot Ready for a voter guide. And we'll put this also in the chat that we made it Pittsburgh specific. So you can do the same thing and get all the information. All you have to do is put your address in and it pulls, and it's nonpartisan. So I know y'all keep saying that we keep our own echo chamber, but it's actually nonpartisan, and you can go in and get all those information that way. But also, for those of you who are worried about your ballots, you're worried you have the wrong ballot, you're not sure, the Board of Elections has made the Board of Elections has made an exemption for this weekend, and you can actually come in and vote in person absentee, so that you can get your vote counted and you can get everything cleared up. I will say this weekend there's going to be a lot of stuff happening at the satellite voting site. So you want to come out. We have food from Mama Alicia's, Caribbean Vibes, from the Coop Food Truck, from the Mobile Chef. We have a lot of performances. We are closing out with ASCO 100 on Saturday and the Bill Henry Band on Sunday. So we have a lot of things, but we want y'all to come out and be able to vote, be able to be nourished and well fed and entertained while you stand in these lines. And also, be safe. COVID is spiking, and y'all are not wearing masks. Y'all are not washing your hands.
Karens.
Please. Karens. And even if some of y'all hope taps who think COVID is not real, it's also the flu season. So please, we want all these numbers down. Please take your immune boosters, your vitamin C, your vitamin D. Wash your hands.
So I'll say this real quick. Someone that was really close to me, we may or may not be related by the same mom and dad, thought that the statistics for COVID were really, really inflated. And then he became a statistic. And I was like, damn, nigga, look at you. Out here fucking up. Now you sick.
So look, real quick. So we got a couple more announcements. Tomorrow, we're debuting a new show on One Hood Media It's about mental health and policing. It's called On Tilt. It's with Julius Boatwright of Still Smiling and Miss Danielle Brown, who's came to the city, who's been fasting for, I believe it's 110 days, looking for justice for her son, Jaylen Brown. But she also has a background in mental health. And so On Tilt premieres tomorrow, 12 p.m. right here at One Hood Media. So please tune in for that. Shout out to Julius Boatwright and shout out to Miss Danielle Brown as well. And we got a lot of speaking engagements coming up. Celeste reminded me on November 5th, One Hood will be at the CMU Mosaic Conference. I don't know how, but they let us back in CMU after we went back up there. We went up there last year. We did a festival called Watts On. They just shut the whole festival down. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But we're back at CMU thanks to Celeste.
I think we're performing a cappella this time. So that's probably
Is that what it is? Yeah. So it's going to be, me. Celeste is the keynote. Miracle will be there. Chrissy will be there. Shantae, who's Sandra Bland's sister, will be speaking. Farouk, Jaquia, Brittany will be performing. It's called Do Some Shit, Arts, Activism, and Family. And so CMU, we'll see y'all November 5th. We'll be at Penn State Greater Allegheny on November 19th, I believe.
That's actually
19th and 20th.
The 5th of November is Guy Fawkes Day too in England. So large up.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to say something about.
Remember the 5th of November.
There we go,
Yes.
man. Pop like 5th of November, eh?
A lot of stuff happening. Will also be a group of us One Hoodians are going to Philly to build with Black Voters Matter Fund and Rock Nation for an event in Philly this weekend. So if any of my Philly people are in, we'll be there. We'll be building with y'all as well. And we might even have some One Hood Power hoodies and shirts to give to y'all. Hopefully this weekend. We're hoping that they
only if you ask nicely, because y'all were trying to jump me last week and I didn't appreciate it.
Listen. You better talk to my sister nice.
From D'Alessandro's. I wanted cheesesteak from D'Alessandro's, since I'm not going to be there. But also,
I like Escabibbles.
Yeah, Escabibbles.
Oh, okay, both. I would like a cheesesteak from both, please, so I can make that decision. Last thing, if you are a parent of a child five or younger, we have partnered with Mom Rising to do a listening session to see, because a lot of people have been talking about it's hard to find daycare, it's hard to find childcare. We don't know what to do because we have to go to work and we have young kids. We put it in the chat this Thursday and Friday. We're doing listening sessions. Please sign up. If you sign up, you get a $20 gift card to either Giant Eagle or Amazon. Even though we're boycotting Amazon, we understand, like, for a lot of people, it's very accessible. So we're giving out $20 gift cards. Please show up as long as you're a parent, caregiver. If you have any questions or concerns about early learning and childcare, we put the link in the chat to sign up. We really want to do these listening sessions to see what's going on so we can advocate better on your behalf. And so that's some things that we're doing.
A lot happening at One Hood. Come out this weekend. Check us out. A couple national interviews. Farouk's doing a whole tour. So check us out. We'll be in the hood with y'all. Hopefully see y'all this weekend. That has been this week with White Supremacy. Are we checking the Got White Supremacy? Are we checking that email address, Trouble?
I'm not the one who made it.
I guess not. Well, I don't know. Somebody check it out.
I just came up with the name.
Yeah. No, we haven't received anything yet, but we also haven't been putting it out. So maybe we should drop that in the ticker from here on out. Got White Supremacy at gmail.com. Please, if you see some fuckery, send it our way. We can't do this alone.
Also, if we need,
only you can prevent white supremacy.
Only you.
Reject white supremacy.
Listen, are we doing guests?
Reject white supremacy.
Are we bringing guests on? Those that we've been doing.
We could bring some guests. Who are we bringing on? Ice Cube? Who are you bringing?
I mean, that's y'all's friend. You can bring in.
Ice Cube been doing like every single podcast. I kind of feel like if we reached out to him,
right? Yeah,
I feel like Ice Cube is the man we think Suge Knight is, because nobody came at Suge Knight reckless on all these interviews. All these people very nice and friendly. I feel like Ice Cube be out in the streets, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pray for all of them, and we're gonna push towards November 3rd. So shout out to everybody we didn't even talk about. They're letting the Breonna Taylor grand jury speak, so we hope to hear them break down what really happened, with the Breonna Taylor case. And so a lot's happening. Stay informed, stay safe, make sure you vote, and make sure you in your community doing what's best. Shout out, y'all. Peace. One Hood.
Bless.
Peace.
Oh, I'm in this video.
As an actor or a performer?
No, as an actor.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
I tell you, early mornings when we heading on out, looking for fire around the way, she don't get smoked out. Cigar in the mouth, tobacco for them feelings of doubt. Last month you lost your spot, last night you was on the couch, yo. This the city they claim was always livable. Segregation and hatred, your own won't even spend with you. Last year you was hot, your name was through the block, but that stops, you ain't dropped. Oh well, they don't remember you. This the city of the crabs in the barrel, where crabs that end up in your bed, the empty shells from the barrel. Where your skills don't really matter without clothing apparel. My family booming, watch the kids sell, like they call me Daryl. This the city where crime's always reported, where police give you the funeral that you would never want it. Blocks littered with garbage, politicians that's tarnished. Most livable city only if you could afford it. Neighborhoods gentrified. I used to live here. Blacks called it a ghost town, cause only whites can live there. Rich monopoly, sneaky with housing policies, trying to buy property, but it's all when they say you was property. Cold faces and stares with colder attitudes. Black names that don't get called back for job interviews. Everybody tense, everybody behind on rent. Anybody can't get popped over dollars you never spent. These jobs ain't paying shit, my landlord calling me pissed. Confederate flag on his truck and my rent was doing a 10. This shit leaving me stressing, I ain't paying a dime. Either move or make a move and stay peeping the signs. One Hood. Now how can I really call this my home? But y'all just want us to back up and go. I make life easier, 6 feet straight below a hashtag. Must be ready to take it back and not let go. Cause this my home, and yo, I live here. Slave city, we live, we about to rise up. And if you ain't know, when I was so clear, we got the God that lead the city behind us. Cause this my home, and yo, I live here. Slave city, we live, we about to rise up. And if you ain't know, when I was so clear, we got the God that lead the city behind us.